Alright everybody, welcome aboard. Today we're going to be going through the Cessna 152 and I'm going to show you how to start it up, and we'll just go through a little flow that I like to do, and we'll keep it very simple for anyone that is interested in learning to fly. And we'll start it off with the Cessna 152. It's a very easy aircraft to fly. So first things first, we're in the aircraft, and let's go ahead and hide the yoke. So you just hit on the yoke so it hides it. Otherwise you can't see all the buttons and stuff, and personally that's not how I like it. I just think it's a lot easier if the yoke is hidden. Alright, so we'll go ahead and first things first, we'll turn on the battery and the alternator. You'll hear everything fire up. Parking brake, we're going to make sure it's set, so pull it all the way back and the parking brake is set. Flaps, we're going to throw the flaps down if they're not already down, so just the flap lever over here, just throw it all the way down, make sure that the flaps are down for the startup. Alright, we're going to go ahead and turn on the beacon and the nav light. So if we look on the outside view, the beacon is the red one flashing on the tail, the nav is the red light on the wingtip, and the green light on the other wingtip. Alright, so we're looking at the oil temp. The oil temp appears to be on the low side, so we'll go ahead and prime that in a second. Basically with oil temp, if it's on the low side, it's considered a cold start, and if it's on the higher side, it's considered a hot start. In my plane, I know exactly when I would consider to prime it, but in this case, we'll just go ahead and prime it anyways for the example. So let's go ahead and we'll do mix is all the way to the wall, 100%. Throttle, we're going to open it just a little bit. Fuel shut-off valve, turn that off. And then we'll go ahead and prime it. We'll do it 3 times. Alright, so that's all good. And that's all set. All the lights are on. That's all good. Flaps are down. And let's go ahead and fire it up. We'll open the window. Y'all clear prop. Make sure no one's around, and then these two. And let's go ahead and turn the key to start. Now once it fires up, you can bring the throttle back to about 1,000 RPM on the tachometer here on the side. That's good. Alright, so now that the aircraft is on, let's go ahead and turn on the taxi light, bring the flaps up. That's all good. I'm going to go ahead and put the yokes back on. And let's go ahead and pull the parking brake. And let's go ahead and taxi out to a runway. And I will meet you down at the runway. Alright, so while we're taxiing, a few things that I really like to look at is the instruments. I kind of like to go through a flow. So we'll start with the airspeed. Airspeed's marking 0. That's good. Obviously we're not going fast enough for air to go through the pitot tube. The attitude indicator, basically just make sure that it's not moving and it's staying erect. The pipper bar is right on the middle. The altimeter, we'll set it for field elevation. The turn coordinator, we'll go ahead and do some turns, and we'll make sure that the turn coordinator works. We'll go ahead and we'll just do a quick right turn with the rudder. And a left turn, and everything goes back to the center. That's good. The compass is about the same on the magnetic compass, so that's good. And our VSI is indicating 0. Let's go ahead and we'll stop at the whole short bars, and we'll look at the runway. And let's go ahead and taxi onto the runway. Alright, so in the real world, I like to go through a flow before takeoff. I kind of just say transponder to altitude. So transponder, altitude, squawking VFR 1200. Car repeat is cold, but there's no car repeat in this plane. Flaps are up. Trim is set for takeoff right here. So you'll see the little needle there in the middle, and it says takeoff. So right about there is takeoff. And lights, we'll go ahead and turn it on. So landing lights on, taxi off, strobe on. And now that the strobe light's on, we are on an active runway, ready for takeoff. Alright, let's go ahead and release the brakes. And we'll go ahead and advance it to full. And we'll rotate at about 60 knots. So here we go. Add a little bit of right rudder, because it wants to pull you off to the left when you add full power. Rudder's a little sensitive in this plane, but that's alright. Now we'll go ahead and pull back. It already wants to fly. There we go, very easy. And we'll try and maintain about 70 knots. So during the climb, if you're going too slow, you can put the nose down and that'll gain some speed for you. You're allowing more air over the airframe. Or if you're going too fast, you can pull the nose up a little bit and try and hold your speed. So we were going too fast there, so I just pulled the nose up a little bit and now we're going back to 70. Alright, so we're clear on the left and we'll start a left turn. Alright, so there's 1600, so let's go ahead and put the nose down, get down to a cruise attitude, and we'll level the plane. We'll pull the power back. Alright, so now we're on the crosswind leg of the runway, which is a little off, but that's alright. We'll go ahead and turn on to a left downwind. Alright, so on the downwind, we'll go through our landing. So brake pedal test, step on the pedals, and you should feel that you have pressure. Parking brake is off. And then I do gumps. Gumps, gears down, undercarriage is welded, mix is full. Power set and seatbelt shoulder harness, we are secure, pre-landing complete. So now we'll go ahead and I'll come out a little bit this way because we're supposed to be parallel with the runway on down, but I came out a little too close. So now we're turning on to our base leg of the airport here, of the pattern. We're on left base. So we're gonna pull the power back, hold this altitude, pull up the nose, and wait for the speed to get inside the white arc, 80 knots, flaps, 10 degrees. Add a little bit of power, because I'm sinking too fast here. Now we're going to go flaps, 20. And now we're on the base leg of the pattern here. And we'll keep the descent coming down. The trim is very sensitive in this plane. And we'll turn final. I overshot final just a little bit, but that's alright. Not the end of the world. Alright, so now on final, it's all speed management. Let's take a look at our speed, and we'll see, are we descending too fast? Are we going to make the runway? What's our airspeed doing? So our airspeed's good. We're a little on the fast side, but that's alright. Maintain about 65 on descent here. Or on final, I should say. Everything's good. I know we're getting a little higher now, so I'm going to start pulling the power back a little bit and keep the nose attitude down. We don't need to add any more flaps. We have a long runway. We'll be okay. Keep the nose attitude down. We'll pull the power all the way back. And now we're going to slowly pull the nose up, and we're going to get inside ground effect. And we're going to hold it off as long as we can until the main wheels hit. And there we go. There's a landing. A little on the flat side, but that's alright. And there's a landing, and whenever we are ready, we will go ahead and apply some brakes. Pull back pressure on the elevator, I'm sorry. And let's go ahead and go flaps up. And we'll backtrack. So there is a startup on the Cessna and one pattern in the traffic pattern. I hope that helped you a little bit, and I hope you can continue on with your flying adventures. And I will talk to you guys someday soon.